ain't mad, are you?
Christine, 20 Secrets They Don't Want You to Know. It looked like just another Stephen King adaptation. A haunted car, a doomed romance, and a small town in terror. But Christine was far more unsettling than it seemed. John Carpenter, still reeling from The Thing, approached the project with precision. But strange things happened on set. Cars malfunctioned, coincidences piled up, and the blood-red Plymouth Fury seemed almost alive. What began as a horror film became a mix of obsession, craftsmanship, and eerie luck. Prepare to uncover 20 secrets they don't want you to know about Christine. Shocking Secret 1. The car was a star in its own right. Christine wasn't just a prop, it was a full-fledged character with personality, emotion, and malice. John Carpenter insisted that the Plymouth Fury behave almost like an actor, with the camera lingering on it, giving it presence and agency. The crew had to coordinate multiple identical cars for stunts, close-ups, and destruction scenes. Each car was rigged with remote controls, hydraulics, and reinforced frames to handle collisions and flips, yet still look menacingly sleek on screen. Actors often had to react to Christine as if she were sentient, screaming and dodging with real fear, especially during chase sequences. Special effects teams even simulated attacks by having the car lurch unpredictably, creating moments where even seasoned stunt performers were startled. Carpenter's direction emphasized Christine's psychology. She wasn't just a vehicle. She was possessive, jealous, and cunning. The film treated Christine with respect, giving the Fury a dominant presence that rivals any human character in the movie. Christine's star power ensured she stole every scene she appeared in, proving a car could be terrifyingly alive. Shocking Secret 2. The cars were custom-built for filming. Several Plymouth Furies were meticulously modified to safely perform the intense stunts that would define the movie. The production team purchased multiple vehicles, stripping them down and reinforcing the frames to withstand collisions and flips. Engines were tuned, suspension systems adjusted, and custom rigs installed to allow precise control for the attacking scenes. Some were built solely for close-up shots, featuring removable panels to hide wiring and hydraulics. Others were stunt doubles, designed to smash, burn, or roll without damaging the originals. This careful orchestration meant that when the car attacked a person or sped through the streets, it looked real while protecting the actors. Crew members spent days synchronizing movements, planning each chase sequence like a military operation, ensuring safety while maintaining chaos on screen. The engineering behind Christine gave the illusion of intelligence and willpower, reinforcing her eerie, supernatural presence. The technical craftsmanship made every dangerous maneuver look effortlessly sinister, blending practical effects with cinematic storytelling. Shocking Secret 3. Carpenter chose horror over gore. Stephen King's novel was filled with graphic violence and explicit gore, but Carpenter chose suspense and psychological tension instead. He believed that showing less could terrify more, relying on atmosphere, lighting, and sound to make Christine feel alive. Carpenter strategically used shadows, tight angles, and slow pans to make the car seem like it had intent. Rather than lingering on blood or injuries, the film allowed viewers' imaginations to fill in the horror. Actors' reactions, screams, and timing were all critical, amplifying tension without resorting to gratuitous visuals. Carpenter also emphasized the uncanny nature of Christine, her obsession, her jealousy, and her supernatural influence over Arnie, over the physical destruction she caused. By doing so, the film maintained a PG-13 level of accessibility while still evoking genuine fear. Audiences felt Christine's malevolence in every scene without needing explicit carnage, creating a psychological horror experience that lingers long after the credits roll. Carpenter's restraint proved that fear doesn't require gore, and imagination can be the most terrifying tool of all. Shocking Secret 4. The Fury was painted for personality. Christine's fiery red paint wasn't just for aesthetics. It was chosen to reflect her aggression and presence. Multiple coats were applied with subtle variations to make the car appear almost alive under studio lighting and sunlight. Paint specialists experimented with shades that would capture both menace and allure, ensuring the car looked stunning in every shot. Some Furies had slightly different tints depending on lighting and scene requirements, allowing continuity while emphasizing Christine's dominance in frame. The glossy finish reflected Carpenter's intent to make Christine irresistible and threatening simultaneously. Production designers also added decals, chrome trims, and interior details that gave her character depth, reinforcing her personality. The careful attention to visual design elevated Christine from a standard 80s car into a cinematic icon, blending beauty and danger in every frame. Even today, collectors cite her paint scheme as a defining element of her legendary status. Christine's color and design helped her stand out as a living, breathing character in cinematic history. Shocking Secret 5. Actors feared the car for real. During filming, actors weren't always aware of how the car would move in each scene. Christine's modifications, including hidden hydraulics and mechanical triggers, caused sudden, unpredictable movements. In several takes, actors genuinely flinched or screamed when the car lurched unexpectedly, making their terror authentic on camera. Carpenter encouraged these spontaneous reactions, believing they would translate into more effective horror. In some instances, the car knocked over props or nearly hit crew members, adding tension to the set. Actors had to trust the stunt coordinators completely, yet still react as if Christine had its own mind. This fear was not entirely scripted, which amplified the unsettling realism of the movie. Audiences unknowingly experienced the actors' genuine trepidation, heightening the film's suspense. The real-life danger lent authenticity, making viewers truly believe Christine could come to life at any moment. Shocking Secret 6. The lead actor's descent into obsession. Keith Gordon, who played Arnie Cunningham, took his transformation from shy teenager to deranged car-obsessed killer with eerie seriousness. To prepare, he studied obsessive behaviors, reading about how possession, both psychological and supernatural, could manifest in everyday life. Gordon even spent time alone with the Plymouth Fury between takes, sitting in silence to understand Christine's presence. Crew members recalled seeing him muttering lines to the car, almost like he was speaking to a real entity. Carpenter encouraged this intensity, urging Gordon to blur the line between love and madness. As filming progressed, Gordon's portrayal became so convincing that several castmates said he genuinely seemed possessed by the role. His subtle changes in posture, voice tone, and eye movement helped sell Arnie's descent into darkness. When Christine is destroyed in the film's finale, the grief in Gordon's performance feels heartbreakingly real, like losing a true companion. Gordon's dedication transformed a simple horror story into a tragic tale of devotion twisted beyond control. Shocking Secret 7. Deleted scenes were too disturbing for theaters. Several sequences were cut from Christine because they pushed the limits of the film's eerie tone. One scene allegedly showed Arnie hallucinating Christine whispering his name, her headlights flickering like eyes in the dark. Another, far more intense moment reportedly depicted the car reviving itself in grotesque detail, using practical effects so realistic that test audiences were deeply unsettled. Carpenter and the studio agreed that suggestion was more powerful than shock, so these moments were removed to preserve pacing and mood. However, snippets of these deleted scenes were rumored to circulate among crew members for years, whispered about like cursed artifacts. Fans have since demanded to see them, but no official release has ever surfaced. Sometimes, what's left unseen holds more power than what's revealed, and Christine's secrets are best left buried beneath the hood. Shocking Secret 8. The stunts were life-threateningly real. Christine's rampages were choreographed with precision, but that didn't mean they were safe. In several key scenes, stunt drivers performed high-speed maneuvers in tight spaces with explosive pyrotechnics, fire, and debris flying dangerously close. One driver recalled nearly losing control during the iconic gas station explosion sequence when a tire blew at full speed. Despite safety protocols, the heat from the flames caused partial burns to crew members working nearby. Carpenter's insistence on realism meant using minimal visual effects. So much of the destruction was captured in camera. Cars were rigged to crush, reform, and heal using hydraulic plates. But timing errors could result in catastrophic malfunctions. Still, the team's dedication paid off. The chaos on screen felt authentic, raw, and terrifying. Behind every flaming wreck and screeching tire was a crew risking everything to make Christine's fury feel real. Shocking Secret 9. Christine's death was almost very different. The climactic scene, Christine being crushed in the junkyard, nearly ended in disaster. The original concept involved a far more elaborate destruction sequence, featuring hydraulic compactors and practical fire effects that proved too unpredictable. During early tests, one of the stunt cars exploded prematurely, nearly injuring several crew members. The sequence had to be redesigned, blending miniature effects and full-scale stunts to safely achieve the shot. Even with adjustments, the scene was filmed over several nights, with engineers monitoring every movement to avoid collapse or fire hazards. Carpenter wanted the death to feel both tragic and satisfying, a mechanical exorcism of sorts. When Christine's headlights dimmed for the last time, the crew reportedly cheered, not just for the character's demise, but for surviving the ordeal themselves. Christine's destruction was more than a finale. It was the filmmaker's symbolic release from her sinister grip. Shocking Secret 10. The car that wouldn't die. After filming Wrapped, the studio attempted to scrap the remaining stunt cars, but they didn't go quietly. Several were mysteriously stolen, others found vandalized or burned, and one even reappeared years later at a car show under a false VN number. Rumors spread that those who owned the surviving Christines suffered bad luck, engine fires, car crashes, even unexplained mechanical failures. Fans began to believe the Plymouth Fury was cursed, and prop collectors hesitated to buy the originals. Carpenter brushed it off as coincidence, but crew members joked that Christine didn't like being junked. To this day, a few restored models exist in private collections, often treated with reverence and just a hint of fear. Even decades later, Christine's legend refuses to die, proving that some machines really do have a soul, and it's not always benevolent. Shocking Secret 11. John Carpenter's personal fear of cars. John Carpenter, the mastermind behind Christine, revealed that his childhood fear of cars heavily influenced the film's tone. Unlike other horror directors who rely on monsters or supernatural entities, Carpenter wanted everyday objects to terrify audiences. He once recounted being nearly hit by a speeding car as a child, and how that memory stayed with him for decades. When adapting Stephen King's novel, he saw the Plymouth Fury not just as a villain, but as a vessel to channel that deep-seated anxiety. The car's silent menace, its deliberate stalking of victims, mirrors Carpenter's own lingering paranoia. On set, he insisted on close-up shots of the headlights, making them almost human in expression, malevolent and watching. This personal connection helped him guide actors like Keith Gordon and John Stockwell to react with genuine fear. Carpenter's own childhood trauma gave Christine a realism that resonates. Turning a simple car into a cinematic predator, audiences still fear today. Shocking Secret 12. The Furies' eyes were alive. The Plymouth Fury's headlights weren't just props. They were engineered to act almost like living eyes. Carpenter wanted the car to appear sentient, so he worked with electricians to synchronize flickers, tilts, and intensity with the narrative. In certain scenes, the headlights followed characters independently of camera angles, creating the illusion that Christine was tracking her victims. Some crew members admitted feeling unnerved during filming, as the car seemed to watch them between takes. To heighten the effect, minor reflections were added on the bodywork, giving Christine a seemingly lifelike glint. This attention to detail extended to sound design. Muffled engine growls and subtle tire squeaks were layered in post-production to suggest consciousness. Every mechanical adjustment reinforced Carpenter's vision of Christine as both automobile and monster. Those headlights weren't just lights, they were Christine's eyes, staring into the souls of the doomed. Shocking secret. 13. The stunt coordinator. Almost quit, legendary stunt coordinator. Buddy Van Horn nearly walked off the film when he realized how dangerous some of the car sequences were. The junkyard scenes involved cars crushing other vehicles at high speeds, while fire effects added extreme risk. Van Horn calculated that a single misstep could result in catastrophic injury. Despite repeated safety checks, Carpenter pushed for more realism, arguing that the audience needed to feel authentic terror. Crew members recall tense moments where stunt drivers had to weave through flaming debris inches from collapsing cars. Van Horn eventually relented after Carpenter promised meticulous planning and multiple rehearsal runs. His expertise made the sequences some of the most thrilling and believable car stunts of the 1980s. Without Van Horn's skill and nerves of steel, Christine's rampages might have ended in tragedy rather than cinematic legend. Shocking secret. 14. Christine's sound design was revolutionary. The car's soundscape is deceptively simple, but terrifying. Composer John Carpenter collaborated with sound designer Alan Howarth to give Christine a voice of her own. Engine growls, creaks, and tire screeches were recorded in layers, manipulated to evoke malevolence. Some sequences feature low-frequency rumbling that audiences can feel as much as hear, subconsciously heightening tension. Even ambient noises, like doors slamming or tires rolling over debris, were amplified to suggest intent. The result is a car that communicates menace without dialogue. Actors reported being unnerved by playback during rehearsals. Hearing Christine before seeing her on camera made reactions more authentic. Carpenter believed sound was as important as visual effects in horror, and in Christine, it became a weapon. Through innovative sound design, Christine's presence transcended metal and tires, becoming a living terror. Shocking secret. 15. Real owners of the Fury were haunted. Several Plymouth Fury owners involved in production reported strange experiences after filming. Tires would blow inexplicably, engines failed without cause, and one car mysteriously disappeared for months, only to reappear with damage that mimicked scenes from the film. Crew members jokingly suggested that Christine herself was protecting her image, punishing anyone who misused her. Owner anecdotes ranged from minor electrical issues to full-on accidents, all eerily coinciding with the car's portrayal on screen. Some collectors refused to drive their restored stunt vehicles, treating them as cursed artifacts. Even Carpenter admitted in interviews that a few mechanical failures during post-production were too coincidental to ignore. It seems Christine's influence extends beyond the screen, leaving a real-world trace of menace wherever she appears. Shocking secret. 16. The makeup team made Christine breathe. To heighten Christine's malevolence, John Carpenter insisted the car feel alive in subtle ways beyond movement and sound. The film's special effects and makeup team took this literally. Small pneumatic devices were installed under panels to create slight vibrations and expansions, simulating breathing when the car was idle or stalking. This effect was often invisible to the naked eye, but added a psychological layer of tension. Actors reported feeling the vibrations during close-up scenes, which caused genuine unease and added authenticity to their performances. Carpenter's insistence on these details demonstrated his mastery of psychological horror. making viewers fear not just what they see, but what they subconsciously sense. These techniques blurred the line between inanimate object and sentient predator, cementing Christine as a unique horror icon. Even a car's quiet pulse could make audiences feel like something unnatural was about to happen. Shocking Secret 17. Stephen King appeared as an extra. Stephen King, the author of Christine, made a subtle cameo in the film, blending into the crowd during the high school scenes. This wasn't initially publicized because Carpenter wanted the focus to remain on the story and the car itself. King reportedly enjoyed watching the filming process and giving advice on the character's nuances, particularly regarding Arnie's descent under Christine's influence. Though his appearance is fleeting, keen-eyed fans have spotted him near the bleachers in the opening sequences. Carpenter allowed King to remain behind the camera most of the time, respecting the director's vision while acknowledging the author's insight into the material. This cameo represents a rare alignment of literary and cinematic horror talents on one set. King's small presence adds a hidden layer of authenticity, linking the book's terror directly to the screen. Shocking Secret 18. Keith Gordon was injured during filming. Keith Gordon, who played Arnie Cunningham, suffered a serious injury on set during a stunt sequence involving Christine. A collision miscalculation caused a metal door to swing into him, leaving a deep bruise and minor concussion. Safety protocols were immediately reassessed, and additional stunt doubles were used for the most dangerous scenes. Gordon, however, insisted on performing certain close-up sequences himself to capture genuine fear in his expressions. Carpenter encouraged this commitment, believing authentic reactions were vital to the film's tension. Crew members remember a mix of awe and terror at Gordon's willingness to face real danger. Despite the accident, Gordon's performance became a defining element of Arnie's slow, horrifying transformation into Christine's obsessed victim. Gordon's dedication brought Arnie's fear and vulnerability to life, enhancing Christine's terror on screen. Shocking Secret 19. The film's climax was changed. Last minute, the original ending of Christine was darker and more ambiguous. Carpenter had initially planned for the car to survive, implying it could continue its murderous streak indefinitely. Test audiences reacted negatively to the unresolved ending, finding it unsatisfying and confusing. As a result, a final sequence was filmed where Christine is destroyed, allowing Arnie's fate to feel somewhat conclusive. The change required reshoots, additional effects, and creative editing to maintain suspense. Many of these adjustments happened under tight deadlines, leaving little room for error. Despite the rushed process, the final climax is both memorable and frightening, blending explosive action with psychological horror. Carpenter later admitted he preferred the original ending, but understood the studio's concerns and audience expectations. The last-minute changes gave viewers closure while preserving the film's chilling atmosphere. Shocking Secret 20. Christine became a real-world icon. Years after the film's release, Christine cemented its place as a cultural touchstone for horror enthusiasts and car aficionados alike. Collectors and fans hunt for Plymouth Furies, recreating scenes or restoring stunt vehicles. Merchandise, comic adaptations, and Halloween costumes continue to appear decades later, proving the film's enduring appeal. Carpenter's meticulous attention to sound, effects, and psychological terror made Christine a benchmark for horror storytelling. The movie's reputation also influenced other films that personify everyday objects as antagonists, from cars to household appliances. Its blend of coming-of-age drama, supernatural horror, and mechanical menace has inspired generations of filmmakers. Christine's legacy endures, showing that even a 1958 Plymouth Fury can become a timeless horror legend. Christine's legacy proves that even a car, when crafted with personality and menace, can achieve immortal status in pop culture. Christine wasn't just a killer car. It was an obsession, a story about love, rage, and the dangerous beauty of control. What began as a tale of terror became a haunting symbol of how easily passion turns to possession. Maybe that's why it still feels alive, because some machines are powered by more than fuel. If this revealed something about Christine you didn't know, share your favorite eerie fact below. And make sure to like and subscribe for more chilling stories from the films that refuse to fade. Remember, some engines never stop running.